A very beautiful afternoon to you. Welcome to the sunny side. I do know it's raining in some parts of town. It's been quite the morning already, but we'll keep it sunny on this side. You know how we do every day. Welcome once again to your number one talk news and sports radio station here in Port Harcourt. I am Gabriella. Welcome you to the show. Today is going to be really fantastic because I painstakingly put in blood, sweat, and tears to bring you, because I love you like that, you know. So I thought to myself, what can I do to make my listener happy today? And I thought, so how about I bring someone who they really, really love and have missed so much. What I did, I pulled so many guys. I pulled a lot of strings. You have no idea. In fact, when you hear this person's voice, I need you all to just call me. Anywhere you find me, give me a big hug and just tell me thank you, Gabby, for making my weekend. Okay, I'm kidding. But anyway, there's someone with me in the studio, and I cannot wait to introduce her to you. Yes. But we're going to kickstart a conversation on the first hour with a monthly rental payment. According to the Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, he's saying right now that state governors should make it compulsory for landlords to collect monthly rent payments. That means you no longer would have to pay for 1 year or 2 years like some landlords will demand. You would now have to pay on a monthly basis. What do you think about that? Do you agree? Do you think that'll be better for you? Would you better manage than having to pay for an entire year or maybe 2 years, as the case might be? At 1 o'clock, the news update. Right after, we'll be having conversations with some guests from Center for Environment. And at 2 p.m., you know it's the Friday, we're going to have a weekend giveaways. That is the package on the show for you today. You're welcome.
Different ideologies,
different perspectives.
Share your views on
2.3 Nigeria Info.
Let's Talk.
Let's talk.
different ideologies,
different perspectives.
Share your views on the sunny side.
92.3 Nigeria Info.
Let's talk.
Let's talk.
right, so the Minister for Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, has called out on state governors to enact laws that will make it mandatory for landlords and, house owners to collect mandatory monthly rent payments. Now, this is obviously, according to him, to make housing more available to the Nigerian masses. This was as a result of a meeting of the National Council on Lands, Housing and Urban Development in Ikeja, Lagos. That happened yesterday, the 21st of October. And he went on to say that they may not be able to make all people homeowners, but they can actually reduce the number of those who lack shelter or live on the edge, so everyone can afford to pay rent. So that means rather than having to look for maybe 50,000 naira or 100,000 naira for your yearly rental payment, you get to look for 7,500 naira, for instance, to pay your rent every single month. According to the minister, he says this is more manageable, and a lot of Nigerians right now who are currently homeless will be able to find shelter. Now, the question I want to ask right now is, do you agree with the minister? Will paying rents per month on a per month basis be a better option for you right now? Currently, with where you are economically, will that be a better option for you? And the big question is, should monthly rental payments be made compulsory here in River State? So I've got a guest joining me, I told you already, and I'd like to hear what she thinks of this. What do you think of this? Do you agree with the minister?
Well, I totally agree because it takes a lot of discipline, a lot of hard work to be able to put together 600,000, 700,000. Some people pay as much as a million plus. So it's a bit more practical, if you ask me. For those of us who have lived abroad, it's sweeter for you when the landlord says, well, I'm coming for my rent in so and so days. You just know that's when you're getting your check. And for example, there are jobs in the US where you get paid every 2 weeks. Some people get paid daily. So you know that you're setting aside money for the month. It's easier, if you ask me, than for you to have to look for 600,000 to pay. And that's why people do find places they want to live in. But because they have not been able to put together the money, it makes it pretty tough. So they have to start. Sometimes people borrow and say, because I did wait to pay them, pay me. When they pay me, I go make up the money. And that's how landlords sometimes come to throw out your stuff from your house, because you have not been able to make up the money. And they even don't take half of the payment. They don't even take half or even 60%. They want everything. But it's a bit more practical. If you know that, if I were a landlord, if I know that you're going to be paying me every month and you would not break it, I would take it, because I'm certain that once you get paid at the end of the month, my money's coming to me. Of course, that's a bit more practical than waiting for the end of the year, where stories might come, stories that touch, or something dramatic might happen. And for you who's paying the rent, anything can happen. Can you tell me that this whole month you've not had to do a miscellaneous payment? You have had to. Something must have come up. So most times the money that you're supposed to put aside has been affected because mommy was sick, my brother's school fees, this or that, or your children, the school has come to say they have to do cultural day, and everything that you need to buy is like 100K. So that's 100K out of the money that you needed to give the landlord. So I think it's more practical. But of course, I guess that some people would, want to differ on this position. But I think it's a bit more practical, especially if you have a good job.
That's the clause that is quite important.
And if you have a good business.
Exactly. But some people would actually argue that, when you pay on a yearly basis, you do it once and you forget it, so you can actually heave that sigh of relief and say, okay, fine, at least before I begin to worry my head about rent again, should be maybe the next 6 months.
That's because we have been made to think that way. That's because we've been acculturated to think that way. Our mindsets, our bodies, the way we work, the way we put our finances together has made us, conditioned us to think that, once I just pay that rent, I go rest that big. But really, calculate your rent per month. Calculate it. It's not that much. Trust me, if you're paying 650,000 naira as your rent every single month, how much are you paying? Every year. How much are you paying per month? Look at it. It's chicken change compared to you having to set aside 650,000 naira maybe at the beginning of the year, where you're still trying to scrape things together. And then it depends on when you moved into that apartment. So if you moved in January,
that's a very bad time. That's a very bad time.
But if you moved in August, you know that you've been able to save up to pay. So I think it's a bit more, I don't know, man, but I think it's a bit more unsettling.
Let's consider the Nigerian factor.
Okay.
Now, there are people who have these yearly fights, So, when it's that time of the year, that you begin to warm up to fighting with your landlord or your landlady, as it were. The landlords and landladies are beginning to warm up to that period where they have to keep knocking on your door,
Oh my
keep
God.
banging, keep calling the police, keep fighting and bantering and
Because
exchanging
money
words.
never completes.
So exactly. So imagine if that now begins to happen on a monthly basis. Mind you, the people who the minister was obviously considering with this idea were people who right now do not have shelter because they can't afford to pay the yearly rent.
Exactly.
And those people, obviously, people who are living below minimum wage in most of the cases, as a matter of fact. So imagine someone who is earning maybe 15,000 naira per month. You have to feed your children, you have to take care of yourself, you have to maybe buy drugs when they fall ill, and then you have to take out at the minimum, say 6,000 naira or 5,000 naira for your monthly rent. Imagine a month where you do not earn 15,000 naira. Maybe that month business was bad, and then you made maybe 6,000 naira, and you still have these demands, that are coming at you, your children, health, transportation, etc. How do you think this will how do you think this is going to affect, the landlord-landlady tenant relationship?
I'd like to first start by saying that there's accommodation for every strata of society.
True, yeah.
It's the batcher where you can afford. It's not the best place to live in.
But because they're all there, that.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So if you live in a batcher, you cannot be paying more than 1,500, 2,000 per month in a day. Even the people who beg in traffic in Lagos make $1,000
Right.
and more. Except you have a problem with money.
Yeah.
You don't know how to save. But you see, I also believe that the average Nigerian would rather prioritize a roof over his head than food in his belly. I'll tell you what.
You think?
No, hold on. Yes, you want to eat food. It's very important. But you see, he would rather eat gala, 100 naira gala, drink water and go to bed. But make sure that landlord is not knocking on my door. This is the priority. That's why you see more Nigerians want to acquire land, build as if I can be my own landlord. They'd rather have a house, a roof over their head than drive a luxurious car. But are there people driving luxurious cars? Yes, but they prioritize a roof over their head. So what I'm saying is, if I earn 15,000 naira a month, I'm not going to go get a house that is 150,000 naira per year.
Right.
Because I cannot afford it. If you put my money together for the whole year and you... Sorry, my tummy is growling because I'm hungry. I just got off a flight. Yes, you have to also make sure that you look at where your money can, what your money can buy, what your money can get, and you prioritize the people who are in your family members, the food that you have to put on the table, the monies that the miscellaneous. So you prioritize all those things and write them down. Know which one comes first in their order of importance, and trust me, the roof over your head is better because we're trying to get more people leaving. In homes than being on the street.
All right. We'd like to hear from you at this time. The phone lines are open. The numbers to call are 0817 923 0002, 0817 923 0003. You can also call 0817 923 0007 or 0817 923 0009. We do have comments already on Facebook and on WhatsApp. Lots of people already on WhatsApp saying who our guest is. I intentionally left that information out, but funny enough, who is loyal is loyal. And we have so many comments here already saying, oh wow, but yeah, we'd like to hear from you at this time. The WhatsApp number is 0809 030 We're also streaming live on Facebook, so you can go watch us there and take a look at how beautiful my guest is looking today. And drop a comment as well. On Facebook rather, it's at Nigeria Info 92.3 PH. We've got Mr. Zion calling in from William Jumbo. Good afternoon, Mr. Zion.
Yeah, good afternoon to you.
You're welcome.
And also, should I say spirit or a ghost in the studio with you?
Go ahead.
That is one of our finest. Morning, I welcome you.
Thank you, Zion.
Yeah, the concept is good. Pay per month. But this pay per month has its own pitfalls. For me, I prefer the annual payment. I prefer that. You just pay it off by January till December. You have nothing to deal with. But the pay per month, it depends on your paycheck that comes. Most of us in this part of the world, especially here in Nigeria, and after the COVID, we can see what is happening in most countries. they don't pay you after 2-3 months. How many landlords want to hear that story? Oh God, they never pay me. Wait first. So to a large extent, the monthly payment is good, but I prefer the annual payment. And that can also give me the choice to prepare for the kind of apartment I want, the preferred one for my family, so that I can able to relax while they stay there. But the monthly one, I will not have the choice of the best of apartment for myself and my family. Mr. Zion.
All right, Mr. Zion, thank you very much for your thoughts. Good afternoon, Promise.
Yes, good afternoon.
You're welcome.
The discussion right now on about the monthly payment of tenants, I think it will be a good one. I believe that even while we are paying yearly rent and education maybe, you see that some landlords are also flexible. Some of them are flexible. After your first payment of 1 year, you enter the house. Some landlords definitely forget any amount you have. That has not been so strict with them. But some of them are such that they ask to pay 2 years, 3 years, and the case may be. Particularly the shops where you do small business. If you can't pay for 2 years, they will not give you shop.
Yeah.
And that have led a lot of people want to do small business inability to start up a small scale business. So I think that this monthly payment will be better. If government is ready to enforce it, if it becomes a law and there is no enforcement, my brother, my sister, believe me, it will still be easy. Because since you're not enforcing it, everybody decide how they want to go about it. And if there is no procedure where people can challenge landlords of taking more than 1 month as government has required, it will still not work. So government, if they say they will make it monthly, we will appreciate it, but there should be a provision to enforce it. There should be a penalty for every landlord that will not abide by the government policy. So that in case a landlord is coming to enforce it or coming to do beyond as required by government policy, then anybody can come up and challenge them. I think we like it and we embrace it.
Promise, thank you so much. I think that's why the minister did say, state governments should enact laws that will govern.
Because the government's sovereign and they have the right to land. They hold custody of that land. They hold it in, what's the word? They hold it in trust for the people of the land. And that's why the federal government, in the issue of the anti-grazing law, have no rights, over states. But again, I think that there's something that we need to consider, another angle to this conversation. The reason why landlords chose this 2 year and then there's this new thing called caution fee is because the tenants themselves do not also stick to agreements. They renege half the time. You break things, you destroy stuff, and you don't put them together, and sometimes they have to run after you to pay the money.
The very popular one, you don't pay your light bills and then you just move out.
They don't do nothing. They accumulate water bills, NEPA bills, literally everything, and just the septic tanks are full. You don't take it out. You wait for the landlord and say, but I'm paying the landlord now. So I guess that's why they're also that apprehensive. But if we were able to have a synergy and meet our landlords or our landladies halfway, there probably be an agreement of sorts. And then I'm also thinking, if they say government should enforce, the landlords also rights to some extent. The land they own is their land.
Yeah, but
the government can only revoke their CFO.
Yeah, maybe enforce is not the right word, but maybe govern. So within the law, you're limited to the kind of things that you can demand of your tenants.
Yes. So that's another thing. The issue of tenancy is not as talked about as we should. We need to revisit it. We pay lots of lip service to it, and who are the we? Our leaders pay lip service to it. We, the people, have not necessarily pushed. Where are the civil society organizations, or even normal people lobby that these things be included in the law? Let there be some form of right on the part of the landlord and the tenant, so that it doesn't look like any landlord can do whatever they want and get away with it.
Right. All right. So Daniel is calling from Imogate. Are you still here? Oh, sadly. Please call back. Good afternoon, Ifeanyi.
Hello.
Good afternoon. You're welcome.
Okay. Did I hear that they want to make it compulsory?
Well, the minister was suggesting it's not a law yet, if that's what you're asking.
Okay, I think for this, it should depend on the kind of house. Like, some cannot build or finish two-bedroom flat and start taking harassment for, maintaining harassment for a month.
Really?
Yeah, I think it should be this safe contain or one-bedroom apartment.
Oh my goodness.
Because
Okay.
it looks like the landlord is working for the tenant, the monthly get paid.
That's how you see it.
Somehow, that's why I say it depends on the kind of house.
Alrighty, for you. Thank you very much. Let's
I
speak
think
to
you find a
Kristen.
landlord.
I think so. Good afternoon, Kristen.
Good afternoon.
You're welcome.
I think that's a good idea. I've traveled to some of these neighboring countries. In short, I've stayed very well there. And I was surprised that we were willing to pay for a year. But to our surprise, they refused to take a year rent from us. We even suggested 6 months. They refused. They said only 3 months. And that 3 months will be on probation. That they'll be watching our character and our behavior in that house. Then if we are of good behavior, they will continue with either 3 months or 6 months. But 1 year, no way. You understand? This will go a long way to help even the so-called tenants. Because this 150, 250, 500,000 for a year, 2 years, how about a beginner? You just started life, maybe you just finished school, you got a job. How much is your salary? How long will you save to come up with 250,000?
Exactly my point.
That is what I think. That's what we should be looking at. It's good. It's good. That's
All right,
my
Kristen.
contribution.
Thank you very much for your thoughts. Now, I like that he brought this up because another way to look at it is, you know how you, as a landlord, right, or landlady, you take in tenants without knowing particularly what they do, and then eventually begin to have EFCC problems, or you have
tell me about
problematic
it. Come to Lagos,
tenants,
darling.
you know. So, in a way, I see how this would help. So, if you're paying on a monthly basis, I can say, you know what,
Yeah, I'm
you need to
terminating
leave.
your tenancy.
Exactly. So you need to leave.
I think that just as we do background checkups or background checks for our relationships and people who we want to employ, I think landlords should do the same form of background check. I'm guessing that most of us are now in the national data of sorts. So, but I also can see how difficult it will be in Nigeria because the moment you start asking questions about a person, they just say, "What do you do? Is he? Is he?" You know. So, but then it's also good to ask, "What do you do for a living?" Ask the person directly. No need to do like. So interrogate, what do you do for a living? I do business. What sort of business? Do you have a store? Do you have an office? Where is it located? You want to know. And if the person lies, you show up at the place to be certain that what they're doing there is legal. So that if something comes up, you can say, well, I've been to the office. I've seen, what it looks like. It doesn't look shady, to me. But a lot of people are just more interested because, again, you just want your rent paid. So you're not necessarily interested in what they do. I used to live in an estate where it's just basically families and people who did legit business, that lived there. And then one time I just traveled and came back, and then there were Yahoo boys everywhere. And then a very nice estate. You started having lots of police come there, the EFCC, which is very bad for the people, the caliber people who lived there. And so now they had to start all over again to do routine checks. So it's very necessary. It's very important because you'd never know. My former colleague Daniel Braid, one day he was here in the studio and SARS broke into his house. They were looking for his neighbor, but you see, they did not know which house they broke into. So imagine if he was there, he could have been dead. So we need to make these our priorities for landlords and landladies. Do some background check or interrogate and find out for yourself if this person is really fit to be in your house because you don't want to be sorry.
All right, let's take some comments and then we'll wrap the conversation up. We're going to start with WhatsApp. On WhatsApp, this says, hello, Gabby. Wow, good to hear you, Maryann. I prefer yearly rent to the monthly one. It gives me time to save up for next one. That's from Ella here in Port Harcourt.
Hi, Ella.
And this says, Fashola just wants to be heard. He should concentrate to work the roads that are almost impassable in Nigeria. Hello, Maryann. Good to hear your voice again.
Aww.
And this here says, hello, Gabby. So good to hear you, Maryann. I prefer the yearly rent to the monthly one. Okay, I took that already. That's from Ella.
Yes.
Let's see. So many comments here, but I'll just quickly run through. Good afternoon, presenter. It's a welcome development if they implement it. That's from Gift from Okrika. And Suki Fabara says monthly payments of rent would cause a lot of ripple effect between landlords and tenants. It's good that they pay annually. Rents are too expensive here. And this here says, hello, Maryann. Oh, OMG, so good to hear your voice. I have missed you. Wow.
I have missed you too. No, I am not. I'm visiting. My birthday's tomorrow, and I promised you guys on Twitter that I was going to come celebrate it in Port Harcourt, and that's what I'm doing. So,
in flesh. And this here says, Maryann, so good to hear your voice, Maryann. All right, so on Facebook, Victor Ake says, this is the most brilliant thing I have heard from any Nigerian politician. Let's pay monthly. Barry White also says, good one. The law says you did not make building material and bag of cement 1,000 naira. What's the common sense? Oh my goodness. I think that's for the minister.
Yeah, cheap jabs at the minister. I see that.
Well, Michael Ogundari says this monthly rent is not at any time a welcome development because you do not know the source of living of others. Huh. I don't follow.
Exactly.
Well, the humble Bishop via final comments on Facebook says, good afternoon, Gabby. Why not ask the state government to build more estates to those who lack shelter and also put more effort by reducing the cost of building materials? Making it compulsory is not a welcome development. Trusting majority of tenants will not be able to meet up. Right.
Building materials are not necessarily all made in Nigeria. Well, we have cement companies, yes. Production costs and all of those things. The cost of living in itself is high. But most of these other things are imported. The rods, the this, the that you want to use in building the house. So it's a complicated conversation, but I think it must be had. That conversation has to be had in terms of how the building materials are done or put together. And then, I don't know, I think people should be allowed to choose the mode of payment, if it's going to be monthly or if it's going to be annually.
All right. We have to wrap the conversation up right now. Time is totally up. But I have to wrap up with this comment. It's from Okon Victor. He says, hello, Maryann, my crush that year. How are you doing?
Okay.
Hello, crush.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, my. Thank you so much for being here, Maryann.
My pleasure. I did promise that I was going to do this. I missed Nigeria Info. So, yes, guys, love you, love you, love you, love you.
How does it feel, though?
It feels, you know, I thought it was going to feel strange, but it feels just normal. I still know, like, I'm not even going to lie, guys, quickly, because I know we're out of time. The first day I started my job on TV, I said, it's your not, I was, because I'm used to saying it's the number one talk news.
Exactly.
I was just like, oh my God. And I still remember everything. So it's just going to be like a walk in the park. But yes, guys, I'm now on TV. People keep asking me, you people still ask me on Facebook, why Plus TV Africa, channel 408, DSTV. Yes, that's where
you can find Maryann.
Yes.
Thank you so much for gracing us with your presence.
Thank you.
All right, so the news update comes up at 1. That's 2 minutes away. And right after that, for the conversations right here on the sunny side. Don't go away.